Dire Maul is in a league of its own when it comes to lore. Many of the dungeons we have already covered are just minor little tidbits of lore that deal with zombies or some other random enemies. Dire Maul, on the other hand, it's filled with thousands of years of history, with cataclysmic events like demon invasions and the shattering of the world. Dramatic is an understatement. So let's trace this ancient city back to its noble origins, and to fully comprehend it, let's lay down some groundwork.
Serve Ajara and rejoice.
Our story starts with Queen Ajara. She was born into royalty and had glowing golden eyes, a sign of greatness in elven society, and also bestowed an innate magical talent. She was perfect in every way, and during the coronation ceremony that lasted days, she was showered with gifts by the people, and Xavius, one of her most loyal fuckboys, gave her a beautiful scepter that she held up to the sky. The shimmering crystals and her own natural beauty was such a sight to behold, it made everyone cry. Oh, Violoon, she's just so beautiful. No, I'm not making that up. The Highborn are the upper class of Night Elf civilization, and were favored by Queen Ajara, and were also magically gifted individuals. A group of these Highborn were called the Chendralar. The Chendralar were some of the most gifted arcanists who were tasked with protecting Ashara's tomes. They established a city called Eldrathalas in Kalimdor's southern jungle, and was led by Prince Tortheldrin. Eldrathalas is Dire Maul before it was turned into the ruined city we know of today. But we still have some history to go over to discover how this kingdom fell from grace.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds. As owner of Mint Mobile, my goal is to spend as little as possible on things like commercials, so we can pass more savings to customers. When I saw what they're charging for holiday-themed stock videos these days, well, you can see what I decided to do. And that means we can afford to offer 3 months of free service on any plan, including unlimited. So let's all just use our imaginations, okay? Just imagine me someplace festive. No, don't make it weird.
There was this thing called the Well of Eternity. It was a giant pool of energy that gave the Kaldorei their immortality and limitless magical power. Ashara and her group of followers grew obsessive over the well and used its power to cleanse the world and make it perfect in their eyes.
Oh my god, I love you so much, Ashara! Let's take over the world! Let's do it!
This meddling with extremely powerful magic caught the attention of some outside forces.
Hey guys, what you doing?
Sargeras, the fallen titan, commander of the Burning Legion, and basically the devil of the Warcraft universe, grew interested in forming a mutually beneficial relationship with Ajara and convinced her to use the power of the Well of Eternity to summon demons and eventually himself so that they could take over Azeroth, thus launching the War of the Ancients, which was demons versus night elves and a bunch of demigods. Many Highborn followed in Ajara's footsteps and allied themselves with the Burning Legion. But the elves of Chendralar were not. They were kind of left in the dark about all this stuff because they were just so far away from the Well of Eternity and the rest of their Highborn friends. So for them, it was just a normal day, and then boom, thousands of demons suddenly at their doorstep wanting to murder them. This sudden attack was devastating to the Chendralar, but somehow, it got even worse. So I'd like to give an apology to all of my lore nerds. This is a super simplified ending of the War of the Ancients. It's really complicated. It deals with time travel and dragons, and there's just a whole book written about this. So I'm just giving you the information that you need so we can keep talking about Dire Maul. At the very peak of the conflict during the War of the Ancients, Ajara was in the middle of turning the Well of Eternity into a portal to summon Sargeras to Azeroth and bring the world to its knees.
Why you took me off the motherfucking schedule with your trifling, dirty, white, racist ass, you big fat bitch, oompa loompa body ass bitch. I'm coming up there and I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you, bitch.
The leaders of the Kaldrai resistance, Tyrande, Malfurion, and Illidan, stopped Ajara just as she was about to summon Sargeras, and she left to go save her highborn friends from the explosion that would be one of the biggest events in Warcraft history. Stopping the summoning of Sargeras destroyed the well, and it was cataclysmic. The world was fragmented by the explosion, and Azeroth was changed forever. Whew, well, now that that demon invasion is over, we can finally relax and... So the poor Chandrilar, a group of innocent highborn just trying to read some books in peace, barely survived a demon invasion, and then all of a sudden earthquakes, tsunamis, and other natural disasters hit their city. Thortheldrin and his allies channeled a giant shield to protect the city from total destruction. Wow, good job guys, we did it. I just don't feel so good. Oh, but it gets worse for the Chandrilar. The Well of Eternity is what gave them power, and arcane magic is like a drug where its users become reliant on it, and without it, are no longer immortal. They can't use magic, and will eventually be starved of mana and go insane, and probably die. So Thortheldrin needed to think fast, or the few remaining people of his kingdom would die out in a slow, painful death. A plan was put into motion. Summon the demon called Imulthar and construct pylons around the city to create a force field to contain the beast and siphon its magical fell energy to satiate his people's hunger. Finally, they could feel that overwhelming, invigorating, and addictive power of magic once again, and the first hit was just like...
Thank you so much for watching Platinum's video.
That stuff was good, and the few Chandrilar that remained could live in isolated peace for the time being. This worked for thousands and thousands of years until the cost to keep Imulthar bound grew higher and higher, and eventually it overshadowed the rate at which energy could be siphoned and distributed. So Thortheldrin needed to think fast, or the demon would escape, or his people would slowly starve once again. His solution? Just start killing some people. Thortheldrin and his most loyal followers thinned out the population so they could continue to satiate their magic addiction. The Chandrilar population was even smaller now, hiding in the darkest depths of their decrepit city and allowing creatures from the surrounding jungles to inhabit their abandoned shell of an elven society.
This is a surprise. Thank you.
Mom, I never got to tell you yesterday what I'm thankful for.
In the Capital Garden section of Dire Maul, spirits of the Highborn that were killed in the name of magical greed still haunt their ways through the city. Some of these spirits even have names, like Ileana Ravenclaw, who is one of the best hunters of Eldritch Halas. When Tortheldrin commanded her to cull the city, she refused. So, something had to be done.
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
Magister Calendris was blindly loyal to his prince and willingly killed many unsuspecting victims, but was wounded in the process and died. Tendrous Warpwood, a corrupted ancient, blocks our path, but we can kill him and then venture further down into the catacombs of the Capitol Gardens, where we can disable the rest of the pylons that kill Imulthar because demons are bad, and then head down to find the remaining few Chandralar and their comically sized tables. Lore-wise, it's the Horde that killed Tortheldrin, and then 2 years later, a night elf named Mordrin Evenshade shows up to Dire Maul and it helps the remaining Chandralar to be integrated into Night Elf society. That's the end of the story for the Chandralar, but there's still 2 wings of Dire Maul with their own unique stories. Just because the Chandralar are gone doesn't mean that Dire Maul's empty. Oh no, 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 no. If we hop over to the Warpwood Quarter, we can find a lot more enemies to face. This is where we get to play the fun drinking game where we take a shot every time we run into a character that is corrupted or deals with corruption. When I say corrupted, that's just Blizzard's fancy way of saying that they are bad guys. This domain of Dire Maul is controlled by a satyr named Zevram Thornhoof. His method of harnessing power is sacrificing people on his altar and using their energy to corrupt the lands and the plant life around him. At the entrance, one of Zevram's minions, Pusillan, leads us down into the depths of the quarter. His name is short for
Pusillanimous,
which means cowardly. In the depths of the dungeon, we'll quickly realize we aren't the only adventurers here either. There's a Blood Elf Warlock here, and her name is Latendrus, and she's looking to capture these corrupted energies within the quarter with a device called Latendrus' Web. Go further down and we'll find Hydraspawn, a water elemental that is corrupted. And then we can kill Zevram Thornhoof ourselves. Unfortunately, the footage I have of him here is corrupted. The Warpwood Quarter of Eldritch Halas was a place to study botany, and there is this beautiful part of the dungeon called the Conservatory, where we can find Old Ironbark. He was corrupted, but since Zevram is dead, he's nice again. So he'll wander over and open the giant door for us, and then, okay. And he's dead. Anywho, we can face the last boss called Alzin the Wild Shaper, who has the Shrine of Eldrathar as his base of operations for his grand mission of corrupting all of Theralis with the power of his corrupted ancients. But that plan obviously didn't turn out because we kill him. And that's pretty much the Warpwood Quarter. Not much story with this section, and it can basically just be boiled down to satyrs are here corrupting stuff, but it's interesting nonetheless. So now the game's over. How are you feeling?
Oh, I don't feel so good.
Perfect. Now we can go to the last, but certainly not least section of Dire Maul, called the Gordok Commons, where there's a clan of ogres that have set up their base. The Gorduni ogres are founded on backstabbing and pure strength. To become the king of the clan, all you need to do is kill the current king. King Gordok and his advisor Cho Rush are the current leaders of the clan, and seem to be leading it with an iron fist, and have a considerable amount of guards between them and whoever dares enter their kingdom. When talking about these backstories of all these bosses, it's important to stress to you that I am not making any of this up, and this is all official lore. The first guard we run into is Moldar, who is convinced the king gave him enchanted gauntlets that have empowered him to be the arm wrestling champion for 6 years running. The truth of the matter is that the king just threw him in the trash. The next boss is Stomper Creed. He's drunk. Fengus was told by Cho Rush that he'd meet his mate while on patrol, so now he spends every waking moment patrolling around his quarter of the commons, looking for his cutie GF. Slipkick is a sneaky little ogre that knows he is not as strong as King Gordok, but he attempts to dethrone him by setting traps to kill him. But it hasn't worked yet. Captain Cromcrush is a guard that is infamously easy to anchor. he has little patience for those who talk about his affair with a gnoll long, long ago.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Sorry for what? Our daddy taught us not to be ashamed of our kids, especially since they're such good size and all.
Yeah, I see that. Your daddy gave you good advice.
It gets bigger when it's full.
At the Gordok seat, we can fight King Gordok and his advisor, Cho Rush. Cho Rush was appointed the advisor position because, well, 2 heads seemed better than 1 for the job, and King Gordok wasn't wrong when making this decision. Ogres with 2 heads are a very rare sight, and are typically a mutation from arcane magic, and they make for exceptional mages. The naming conventions of 2-headed ogres is just both of their names put together. So this is Cho, and this is Rush. Lore-wise, it's the Horde once again that venture into the Gordok Commons to see if they can adopt the clan into their society like they have other ogre clans. But King Gordok is A. would rather stay in his kingdom with all his power, B. just too tired to leave Dire Maul, C. just doesn't really feel like it, or D. guess what? He's corrupted.
Greetings. Light bless you. Be careful. Light bless you.